Right now it's time for us to check some of the headlines that are making waves in front of our papers and our online portals. And as we head towards the 2024 elections, political activities are intensifying and critical decisions are also being made happen to shape the future of the country. So one of such developments is the withdrawal of the Walewale MP from the NPP primary after a chaotic rerun. We are going to be looking at that, and after we're also going to be looking at the emphasis of, the EC and Kodio making media key partners in ensuring the transparent elections in December 2023. We also have more stories to come, but let me introduce my guests in the studios and we get right into it. But remember that you can also be part of this conversation by sending in your commentary, your questions and your thoughts to the WhatsApp number on the screen, and do not forget to use the hashtag #BreakfastDaily as we have these conversations and we will get to read it on the show. So in the studio with me is Loratu Musa Saka, who is a team member of the NPP communications team. How are you, Loratu?
I'm good, how are you too?
I'm fine, thank you. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to be starting with the Walewale NP, Lariba Abudu, pulls out of NPP primaries. I'm going to read a little of some of the paragraphs on this story on ChannelOneNews.com. So the Member of Parliament of Walewale, Lariba Zuweru Abudu, has pulled out from the New Patriotic Party primaries in the constituency. Her decision comes just ahead of a scheduled National Executive Committee meeting on September 11, 2024, which aims to address the situation. In a letter, the Walewale NP noted, following the inconclusive rerun of the parliamentary primary in the Walewale constituency yesterday, which the Electoral Commission was unable to declare a result as a result of an unfortunate incident, I have decided that in the interest of the greater good of the New Patriotic Party and peace and unity in the Walewale constituency, I will no longer be a candidate for MP in the 2024 elections. I'm therefore formally withdrawing from the contest. I would like to thank the party for the honor done me in representing my constituency over the last 4 years and can assure the party of my continued support in the 2024 election campaign. And that's the article right there in ChannelOneNews.com. You can also go and check it out. So after this chaotic rerun, and obviously it actually caused some concerns, what actions is the NPP taking to address the internal issues and also prevent similar situations from happening, especially now that we are drawing nearer to the general elections?
Good morning, Chris, once again, and good morning to our viewers. When you say what is the NPP doing to address the internal issues, I find it a bit difficult to understand, because this was a constituency that ran its primaries around the same time that most constituencies were running their constituency primaries according to the party's calendar. And it turns out that the results that the EC declared, one of the candidates didn't find it fair. And what do? I mean, you use party internal issues, but she took it to a court of competent jurisdiction, and the court ruled that the elections must be rerun. And being a law-abiding party that believes in democracy and rule of law, immediately set a date for a rerun. I mean, there were a lot of modalities put in place to ensure that it was run peacefully and fairly. But you know how these elections are, even for union elections and even students' election, you get some of these passionate people doing things that are not supposed to. But fortunately, nothing untoward happened. The police were swept. when whoever it was disrupted the situation. The police were swift, got the ballot papers, and the EC said that they have declared the election inconclusive because they couldn't count the ballots. So that's all. And once the EC declares that an election is inconclusive, it's the party's internal election. So the party takes a decision. So if you've been following, there was a letter from the General Secretary inviting NEC for an emergency NEC meeting. And I believe that was going to be one of the agenda items. But for the love of the party and for what the dynamics are, the current MP, who is more, if I should put it more like the mother of the constituency, decides that no, I don't want to take my people through all the hassle. We've gone for a first one, I wasn't happy with it, I've gone and it's causing a lot of chaos. At this point, until 7 January, she's the MP and the one responsible for the constituency. So if she's decided to, for the love of the party, for the sake of peace and everything, to step down, I think that's the way we should go, and it's the right decision she has taken. And we all must forge our ahead, and it's less than some 72 hours to the close of nominations to be filed for candidates. And I think it's in good time, and we should all forge our ahead in unity, in peace, and get this seat. Maintain the seat, because it's our seat anyway.
Obviously.
Yes.
But in issues of, you know, internal unrest, it actually looks like a sign of deeper division, some would say. But how would you respond to critics when, you know, they point out to say, okay, it looks like there's issues in their homes, and they're coming out to tell us, okay, they want to rule us, but they've not sorted that.
Oh. That would be stretching it, if I may. There are issues in every election, passions. You know, how people put their all in all. People are passionate about some of these things. And imagine an incumbent being contested. It's an election that will come with a lot of interest, a lot of passion. And the good thing is that it didn't end up in anybody being maimed or anybody losing their lives or anybody incurring injuries. The police, like I said, were swept. And you know, as we run elections in this country, the EC is responsible for the process. The security agencies are responsible for the security. And I think with all that happened, we should also give the security some commendation for how swiftly they managed the situation. And I think that's the way we should go into the general election. Leave the institutions mandated to run certain roles to focus on the thing. We should stop heckling them. I believe that if the youth or anybody had gone accosting the police, would have been talking about a different story today.
Right. But should it have happened in the first place? I mean, looking at the people that were involved, do you think all this should have happened?
Look, there were measures put in place to make sure that nobody goes in there apart from the team running the election. But I know how human nature is. People have their own intentions and their own way of doing it. So I remember I was listening to one of the reporters, I don't know whether it was from City FM or so, who said the two candidates were sitting outside. It was one of them who will go in and come out because they wanted to run it and run it well to the void. But some of these things, I mean, you can predict it. But the good thing is it didn't end up with anybody maiming themselves or being injured or anybody losing their lives. And that's how, like I said, that is how we should forge ahead with the elections that we are going for on the 7th of December.
Yeah. All right. So joining us in the studio is a member of the NDC communication team, Naa Atswei Nee-Okpey. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine.
Apologies for coming late.
Oh no, it's fine.
But I'm here. Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm sure you actually got a tidbit of what we were talking about, and it's about the Walewale NPP. And also, I'm sure you understand what's happening there. But what do you think about the withdrawal of the MP? Does it signal internal democracy within the NPP?
Withdrawal signaling internal democracy. I'm not sure about that. But let me start by saying that I'm sure you are aware as a media house and as a journalist of the recently released Afrobarometer report that suggested that there is a massive decline in the satisfaction that Ghanaians have in our democracy. Sometime in 2013, about 74% of Ghanaians had strong confidence in our democracy. Today, under the watch of the NPP, those who say that they are the doyens of democracy, it has reduced to a whopping 51%. And that is a 23% decline in the confidence that Ghanaians have in our democracy. And to also add that Ghana's much heralded clean election, I mean, we are always heralded for holding clean election. Today, it has been stained with blood. The blood of the 8 people that we lost in 2020 for President Naa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia to ascend to the presidency. And so for me, I just hope and wish and pray that the inconclusiveness, that the chaos that we saw in Walewale would not add up to the excuses that we are already hearing, that Russia, Ukraine, and then COVID-19 are the excuses why the country is on a downward trend. I'm hoping that the NPP will not come and say that the Walewale chaos is also part of the reason. But are you surprised, my sister? Don't be. There are honest laws who told us that in the NPP there is no place for women. As Lawusu told us that in the NPP, women are treated as non-entities. And I'm quoting here. And are you also surprised that the president on an international platform says that Ghanaian women are not dynamic? And so please, the withdrawal is not about anything on democracy. It is simply the fact that in the NPP, as Lawusu has come to tell us, that there is no place, women don't have a stake in the NPP. And the president has affirmed that Ghanaian women are not dynamic enough. But we in the NDC, we prioritize inclusion. In fact, we give a place to women. And it is evident in our running mate, Professor Naa Atswei Nee-Okpey, and the space that the NDC has given her and other women to operate, for her to be a shining example to myself and to Lorato. And then still in Walewale, let me greet our parliamentary candidate in Walewale, the Honorable Abdullah Abubakar, the man who stands for peace and progress, the man who is not chaotic, the man to bring development that is needed in Walewale. You see, so democracy has come very far. And so we won't allow the NPP to take us back. If the NPP is going into opposition, at least they should go into opposition with some decorum. And I hear the new word is demure. Maybe they should go into opposition with some demure. They shouldn't go into opposition with arrogance of power and with impunity. No, the Ghanaian people will not allow. Now you see, this is the Walewale showdown. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says he has bold solution, please, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the people of Walewale, they are wallowing in distress. They need the very bold decision. And to lead is to solve, please. You need not sit and say, I have the solutions, when your backyard is burning. So if to lead is to solve, then let's see the solution. Don't defer it. If you have the bold solutions, your own backyard, take care of your own backyard. Now, this is a test case for Dr. Bawumia. A test case on how he is able to manage 2 people on his side, a relative and an aide. You can't keep your house. No, then you can't keep Ghana. You can't maintain the peace in your house. Then, of course, you can't maintain the peace in Ghana. You see, I am also sure that in as much as myself and my sister belong to a different, different political divides, there's one thing we agree on: women inclusion, exactly. More women going into parliament. And all of us agree that the number 40 of women members of parliament that we have in this year's election must increase. But what has the NPP done? They have missed a golden opportunity. And then they have used elimination by rough tactics. See, it is not about a personal reflection and saying, I want to withdraw. No, elimination by rough tactics. They actually orchestrated the exit. And so what I'm saying is that it is not, the withdrawal, to answer your question, it's not in any way about democracy. It is elimination by rough tactics. Just maybe the people of Walewale are headed to opposition ahead of the main NPP. And to add that, you see, I have heard, so now, you know, by maybe NEC will come and say that, oh, let's acclaim Dr. Kabiru as the PC for Walewale. Do you remember the Yendi incidents? When our own Ajabi Bata was treated in similar fashion, to the extent that a committee chair of their election committee says that, and so in the absence of the electoral commission, I'm declaring so and so person. And you think that the NPP believes in democracy? No. They believe in personal interests against the democracy, against the will of the people. And so for me, this is a repetition of what happened in Yendi. And then if it is a dress rehearsal for the NPP to come and cause mayhem on 7th December, it is not only the security services who are up. Well-meaning Ghanaians are up to protect the peace of Ghana. And so we won't allow. Why has the NPP mastered snatching and chewing ballot papers? Didn't you see the same thing in Parliament? When their members were chewing and snatching ballot papers, is that all they have to offer? Is that their bold solution? I beg, the NPP has missed a golden opportunity and has actually orchestrated the exit of Madam Lariba. And to conclude, what I'll say is that, see, the NPP cannot take Ghanaians for granted. Enough of the chaos. What Ghanaian wants, jobs. What Ghanaian wants is a stable currency, and that is exactly what John Dramani Mahama would offer. Thank you.
All right. So if you say that the NPP does not want a woman to be an MP, I mean, she is already the sitting MP. So how does what you say actually justify what's happening right now? Because she is the sitting MP. And also, I think that also shows inclusivity in a way, don't you think? So
what I'm saying that you are misquoting me. I did not say that the NPP does not want her as a female MP. What I said is that they have missed a golden opportunity to increase the numbers we currently have. Mind you, hers is part of the existing 40. So they have missed a golden opportunity to increase the number from 40.
All right.
Good.
Okay. So Laratu, what are your thoughts about that, especially with the issue of inclusion? And inclusion has been a topic that, you know, that is actually on the global front, not just Ghana right now.
Yes, I mean, inclusion is something that nobody can overemphasize. But let me address a few things that Naa Atswei wanted to do petty politicking with. You see, it's the stock in trade of the NDC to reduce every situation to a vote. If they are not talking about opposition, they are doing propaganda, but we can't blame them because hitherto their communication officers were called propaganda secretaries. So it's not surprising that they go on that tangent. She's talking about how political parties treat women. Probably she has to go and ask the elders in her party how women are treated in the NDC. You don't put women in the party for the optics. You put women in politics for what they are capable of doing. It's a democracy we are running. Which party? You remember Madame Frances Essien? She was beaten with a horse whip. That is how she left NDC and joined the NPP. That is how the NDC treats women. They beat them. We don't do that. We jaw. It's a democracy, it's an election. Until we fully start implementing the affirmative action. How long has the affirmative action bill been on the tables? Over 10 years. It's been passed down. And in due course, His Excellency the President was sent to it. And the parliamentary flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, even before affirmative action bill was passed by Parliament, had committed to it on the 7th of February that he was going to implement it fully. Are they talking about people taking care of their backyards? The NDC has no moral audacity. And I think that before Naa Atswei comes on set, she should sit down with elders in the party. Who declared boot for boot? Wasn't it their flag bearer? Who is attacking the EC? Who is attacking the clergy? Who went to the EC after 2020 election and were burning ties? It's the NDC. So when we are talking about chaos, when we are talking about unruliness, when we are talking about indiscipline, they are the fulcrum of it. They are the definition of it. You sit down here and say, Dr. Bawumia cannot manage his household. That is ridiculous to say. There would have been the same people to say, Dr. Bawumia is using his position to get it. And they just, I think for them, they just formulate their propaganda, and whether the situation changes or not, they stick to it. And that is what she's doing here this morning. We believe in democracy. We believe that women must be given opportunity, no doubt about it. You don't put women in a situation without policies to enhance their growth. Why didn't they pass the bill when they were in power? It was there. What was the reason? If they believe so much in women. We don't put women in positions just for the numbers or just for the optics. And even if we want to do that, which party was the first to appoint a female Chief Justice? And you see, they think that women only have to do comms and be in Parliament. That's all they think about. We have a first female Chief of Staff. We have a first female Communications Minister. We can count a number of firsts. But what is it that we are talking about? And I would have been surprised if in less than 3 minutes of her submission, she hadn't mentioned Dr. Bawumia's name. They can't do without mentioning Dr. Bawumia's name. That should tell you that. Who goes after something that is not worthy? They know the pressure that Dr. Bawumia brings on them. They know what Dr. Bawumia stands for. So they cannot do anything without mentioning the name. What do they say about the tree that has the sweetest fruits? You always find a stake under it because people go after it. So they should stop reducing issues in this country to just a vote and being in opposition and being in power. We've gone beyond that. But I don't blame them. If in 2024, we are talking about going electric, we are talking about giving children laptops and tablets, and they are talking about coming to give youth day-old checks and running 24-hour discos, then you know where they are coming from. And that is what we keep telling Ghanaians, that this alternative is empty. And let's focus on the issues. You heard Dr. Bawumia when he submitted his forms and he addressed the party folks. We are going into these elections with ideas. If they have alternatives, let us talk about the alternatives. All these bunkering and all these peripheral issues that bring no development to this country should end. If they have ideas, they should talk about the ideas. If they have alternatives to what is being done and going to be done, inshallah, when Dr. Bawumia is giving the mandate, let them come out with it. But all this petty politicking, reducing issues, important issues, life-threatening issues, to just a vote, we need to all stop it. Let's talk about issues. Let's talk about, but why would she be quoting people anyway? Who quotes things that they don't identify with? It resounds in them. That's their modus operandi. That is how they operate.
Right.
So we need to all come together and make sure that we stick to issues and stop. Why didn't we hear about their primaries? Do we want to go into their primaries? When people were slapping people, people were spraying money all over the place, they have the moral audacity to come and talk about another person's primaries when they were slapping people all over the place. Come on. NDC was the first party that beat people and they ran away from their Congress with horsewhips. She should deny that.
All right.
A woman, for that matter, and you sit down today and say you believe in women.
Okay, wait.
Hold
your thoughts. We are going on a quick break, and then we will be back and we'll continue this conversation. Right. So before we went on a break, now you wanted to give your submission.
And so, Chris, you see, from here, Lariba and the NPP should go and ask for forgiveness of sins. You know, their discrimination is not only against women. but even against girls. This morning, she's here parading herself as I belong to the party that does this for women. Do you remember when the NDC started sharing sanitary pads for young girls to keep them in school? The likes of Samia Wuku in her party said that it is for evil reasons and that the sanitary pads will be used later. I don't want to use those words on your prestigious platform. It is them. Their discrimination, it is not against only women. It is against young girls. Someone had to support her with products like that for her to get here. Someone had to support me. When it was the turn for us to support young girls, they come and say that it is for evil reasons. Those girls are watching. And the women they will become in the near future has been inhibited by the NPP. And did I hear her say that we didn't pass laws on affirmative action? Please, when you come to the NDC, we exemplify the affirmative action. And it is one of the reasons why I have told you that it was an attempt to keep girls in school when they wanted to keep girls out of school. What is the essence of free SHS if the girls cannot stay in school? And so it is just the rhetoric and the sloganeering. And then I hear her say that they have the first chief, what did I hear her say? The first chief justice. Did I hear her say that? Did I hear her say the first chief justice? Yeah. When you come to the NDC, we can pride ourselves as having the first attorney general, the first speaker of parliament, and like I've told you, supporting young girls to get there. This morning, Lorato is not worried about the 8 lives that were lost. Ask her if she had a sibling in there, if her husband was part of them, if her mother, her father, her child was part of the 8 lives that were lost. And then after almost the 8-year reign of President Nana Akufo-Addo, we can't account for the lives. And today, you want to be on the ballot paper again for how many more lives to be lost? No, Ghanaians won't accept that. And then you see, it is in the making and the DNA of the NPP. When we want to call Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to accountability, they said no. Anytime you want to hold Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia accountable, they said, hey, don't hold him accountable. But if it is praise singing, we give it to them. Who lives with one hand? Of course, one hand is for accountability, and one hand, is for praise singing, wherever need be. But to them, it is always praise singing, touch not my anointed. Please, we won't tolerate that. We have put him in power, and so we will demand, we will mention his name with every fiber in us and demand accountability in, for example, the case of the lives that were lost. In, for example, the sharing of the sanitary pad by the NDC that they poo-pooed. And you are back here, that should give you an extension, please. And back to Walewale. In all the chaos, I'm sure by now Dr. Bawumia is thinking we need to upgrade the chaos, right? Of course, we need to reset Walewale to peace. We won't take that from them. We are not upgrading the chaos. We are resetting Walewale to peace. And that's of paramount interest to Ghana.
All right. So